All right, I turned it on already. We don't have to go back to it. So this should be interesting.
Oh, is this all right where the mic is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me get started. You're pretty familiar with the machine?
Yeah, I just usually just go, and then I just hit terrain if you want to see terrain.
Okay.
And then
I'm usually doing the elliptical, so.
Then this is your speed. You can adjust your speed. So, I guess introductions, Noe.
I'm Jeff.
Nice to meet you, Jeff.
Yeah. So Noe, N-O-E.
Yep.
Okay. What's your initial response or reaction to that question? What do you think happens after we die?
For when I was younger, I used to think that there was heaven and hell because that's what I was raised in, is a Catholic Christian. So that's the religion that we were told when we were younger.
Yeah. So
I come from Mexican heritage, so Catholic.
Did you grow up in Mexico or?
No, actually, I was raised here.
Okay.
But obviously, with the beliefs of mixed heritages from here and also from my ancestors from Mexico.
Yeah.
So I guess you could say I was raised in that belief. So when I was younger, I used to believe that it was like heaven and hell. Even now, I don't. Kind of shaded it a little bit because I started noticing from other religions. I like to, my wife, when I met my wife, she was atheist. So obviously my family were very Catholic. So it was kind of like a contradiction in a way.
Yeah.
But I liked it because she pushed me to question things, pushed me to learn other stuff, which, it's nice because I do believe in order for you to have empathy through others, you have to know other people. You have to branch out.
Yeah, that's very good. And I think that's probably why you're open to talking about this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody likes to question, like, where do we go?
Yeah.
I don't think that truly anybody knows. I don't know if you've ever seen the show, I think it's called American Gods. So it touches a lot about that question.
Yeah.
On different beliefs, different religions. And I would like to think whatever you personify is what you're going to receive. I do believe that there's a higher being.
Yeah.
I don't know which one is right, which one's wrong. I just choose to believe that if you do right by others, right things will come back.
Yeah.
So whatever karma you put out is the karma you receive.
So it sounds like you're aware that there are differences in the gods of different religions. So some people would say, well, I believe all gods are the same, all paths lead up the same mountain kind of thing.
Sort of.
But what you're saying is, what I heard you say is, I don't know which one is right. So that means the gods are different. Well, because there are discrepancies between them.
Exactly. So for instance, for me, I'm recently learning more about my ancestry. I took 23andMe and I found out I am 51% Purépecha tribe, which is indigenous tribe in Michoacán, Mexico. So even they traveled between Michigan and Michoacán, hence the names. A lot of people don't know that. So
between Michigan and the United States.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they were
indigenous a roaming tribe then.
Yeah. So I mean, indigenous tribes. Back in the before Columbus came, it was free. The Americas were free.
Yeah. So
you got people migrating back and forth.
Yeah.
Obviously due to climate changes. Throughout the seasons.
Yeah.
It just so happens that in that specific region in Michoacán, that's where the majority of the Purépecha tribes are. Okay. There's different tribes. I don't want to say it's fact, but but fact is that that's where majority of the tribe is.
Yeah. Now, they've settled there?
Most of them.
Okay.
So the thing is about even in I would say in Mesoamerica, which is in Mexico, there's different tribes, and each tribe has its own pantheons of gods. Yeah. Same thing if you go to Europe, there's different religions, obviously because of different kings that suit their own needs at the time. Yeah. So for now in modern times, there's all sorts of pantheons, but the majority ones are obviously Catholic, Christian, Buddhism, all sorts of religions.
Major world religions.
Yeah.
Do you see big differences between the different tribal religions? I mean, they might have different names for them.
There are different names,
but they
represent different things. So if you go to the Mayans, obviously it's Quetzalcoatl, which is the serpent god. If you go towards the Aztecs, they call him a little bit different, but essentially it's kind of the same god.
Yeah.
But if you go towards, like I said, where my family, my ancestry originates from, they have different gods as well. I'm still learning about them because I recently found out about them.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give you the wrong information there.
Oh, sure.
But there's, like I said, it's like, think about like the Greek gods, but in their mythology. So for what I understood from the Mesoamerican religion of it is that the key is balance. That's what you're trying to find.
Yeah.
Is balance. Same thing like a lot of native tribes here is that they want to find balance. Now for Catholic and Christianity, what I was raised in, if you do right, you're going to heaven. If you do wrong, you're going to hell.
Yeah.
But there's really they really don't give it too much of a middle ground.
Yeah.
And for my current beliefs, for me is, like I said, the world is gray. I'm not saying it's right, but for me, I like to, like I said, I go by I guess you could say I go more by the teachings of the New Testament, which is do right by others, try to be the best person you could be.
I totally agree about that. The world is gray thing. Like, we're in a place, so I believe in the Christian God and that sort of thing, but we're in a place where there's both good and evil around us, right? Yeah. And so there's a lot of shades of gray, all around us. And so one person could be, they could be doing the right thing, but for the wrong reasons. Yeah. And another person could be doing the wrong thing for the right reasons, which doesn't make it right. But I'm just saying, like the ends don't justify the means kind of thing.
Never. So,
but and then with the Catholic, you're saying it's kind of like, you do right, you go to heaven. You do wrong, you go to hell. Well, there's a lot of shades in gray because no one's perfect. No one. So, at what point have you, then is it like a balance scale? Like if your good outweighs your bad.
And that's
and
to me that's the part that I get to. Like when I was a kid, I thought it was black and white. Yeah. Now as an adult, like I see there's like even me as a human being, I've done things in my life that I'm not proud of. Yeah. But like I said, if we're going based on what I was in the religion I was raised in, is you're always able to say you're sorry, but you have to mean it. You have to believe it. Yeah. And you have to try your best to improve. And as the current times, like in our era of times that we live in, as a male, it's so hard to find good role models, especially with the younger generation that are basically on the computer or on their phones all the time. And majority of the men that are on those networks, they're not the best role models. Right. Yeah. And usually as a man, you don't need to question your manhood or question if your, testosterone levels are high, because you know what you are inside. Yeah. True people that don't need any justification for who they are, they live by it. They just roll with it. Yeah. They know they're who they are. Majority of the guys that, I guess you could say, that bark the most are the most insecure people. And that goes with anybody. It doesn't matter which gender, what your beliefs are. If you know what you believe in, if you know what you stand for, then why initiate? Like, we can have a civil conversation as we are now. Yeah. Most people, like you just said, they don't like talking about it because they're unsure of themselves. Yeah, well, part of the reason that I make these videos is I'm trying to show other Christians at church that we can have these kind of conversations outside of church walls with people who are not necessarily believers or whatever, and we don't have like I try to nod and say, yes, I understand, to you. I may not agree with everything you say, but I'm trying to
I'm trying to understand, and trying to understand your point of view, or whoever I'm talking to. And I think we've come to a place in society where people don't even do that as much.
Exactly.
You know? And we need to do that more, you know, so that we can understand each other. You know?
And I find that harder for the younger generation due to the fact that obviously COVID played a big part in their lives.
Yeah. How old are you, by the way?
I am 32.
Okay.
About to be 33 this year.
So during COVID, you were in your
I was
mid-20s, I guess, or late 20s. Yeah.
So, you know, I grew up with, you know, able to talk, you know, as a people. Like, really, the phones wasn't so popular, I guess you could say. But, you know, I think that's something else that most of the time, like, when was the last time you go to a kid's room, you see books?
Right.
Or you just see, like, board games.
It's really sad.
That's a big part of my childhood that I always liked, because you got to hang around camaraderie, you know?
Yeah. So just hang out and,
you know, and
just this constant idea of, like, well, here I am videoing myself, but constant idea of, like, who else is going to see this? And, oh, this is a post-it moment. I got to take a picture of it so I can show all my...
Exactly. Live in the moment, you know?
Yeah.
How many times we go to concerts and stuff and you're not really living the moment. You don't take it fully in. You may not remember it later in your days. Take a pic, you know, take a picture, and you see that picture and it gives you a nostalgia back to that memory.
Yeah.
You don't have to video the whole thing, but just that one picture.
Doesn't take too many pictures to remember the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and now going back to what you were talking about, being able to talk about different things. I choose to, like, your beliefs are your beliefs. As long as you're not doing wrong by others, I'm okay with that.
So I have these conversations, you know, and part of the motivation is because I, like, if I believe, so for example, I believe there is a heaven and a hell, and we will there's a judgment day, and we'll stand before God and have to give an account. And what the Bible says is that we're all guilty. We're all, you know, like, we've all sinned. We all fall short. Just like you saying that you've done some things you're not proud of. Well, we have to give an account for that because we knew right from wrong. Yes. You know, and the other part of it is the good things that we do, we should do. If that makes sense. Yeah. So that whole balance scale thing doesn't work because on the good side, we should do those things anyway. We have our health, we have our time, we have our money. We should be able to use that for good. Yes. Right? And, you know, if a little old lady fell down, you know, I know that you would help her up. Yes, right? 100%. And you wouldn't be like, oh, look at me, I'm such a good person. No. You'd be like, I just did what God or the higher power or anyone should do as a human being. Correct. Right? And so on that balance scale, it's not like, okay, God, you owe me because I'm doing all these good things. No. And then the bad things, though, we all have so in my perspective, and what the Bible says is that we have a God-given moral conscience. So when we do those things that we're not proud of them because we have an innate, like, morality. Yes. We may not always follow it. Maybe I should turn this down so I can... Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. You're actually walking on faster than me. Yeah, we know it's wrong. We don't follow our moral conscience, but it's there. And so when you say I'm not proud of certain things, it's like, yeah, because you knew it was wrong. Right? Correct. And so standing before God, long story short, if I know that, and that I know that none of us could save ourselves by being good enough, but that's why Jesus died on the cross. He paid the punishment for our sins, right? Correct. That's what the Bible teaches. If I know that, and I know that, it's almost like if I know there's a cure for cancer, but people aren't taking the cure, it would be really, the right thing to do would be to help people see, number one, you have cancer, and that's not a good conversation to have. You know, I mean, no one likes to hear that. Yeah. It's almost like the bad news, and then the good news is, but here's a cure. And so, in my view, I want to have conversations like this because, number one, I want to help people see they have the cancer, which is our sin and our alienation from God, but then also that there's a cure, faith in Jesus Christ. Yeah. Now, you may not believe that, and I can't convince you of that, but I've accepted that. And so it's like, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to have the conversation.
Correct. And
so it's like
that's a big part.
The whole idea of like hearing your perspective and then we share perspectives. In my view, that's a good way to get that perspective across.
Yes.
And let you figure out what you want to do with that.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the biggest problems, with a lot of people that like are, I guess you could say, because I'm just going to keep it simple. Like in the church that I used to go to, the people that were so invested into the church were probably the worst people you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
Because they themselves can't accept others, what others believe, and I go back to the same thing, what I said. I truly believe, in order for you to feel empathy or to even accept others or to be just a good human being, you have to experience others in their point of view.
Yeah.
Because if you never experience that, how are you going to know what they've been through? How are you going to know their empathy, their struggle,
Yeah.
And that's something that, even ever since I was little, I always saw that from, going through my life of experiencing poverty to where I am now, to seeing the views of where my ancestors started from to where we are now. So I guess you could say, as a person, you have to be able to accept others and their beliefs, but at the same time, if you nurture what you believe in, you shouldn't be afraid to talk about it.
Yeah. You when you talk about the church people that were like some of the worst people, are you talking about like the leaders or certain?
I wouldn't say like the main leaders. I would say like maybe the people that, like, I guess that would serve. There's
pretty much only one leader, the priest, I guess.
Yeah, but the administration, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So
or the people who are up front, or
exactly
active role. Yeah.
That they like to. I guess they had the concept of a character that is, I'm holier than thou, and what I do is never wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you're human too. You know? Yeah, you can preach, but you also, like, as a person, I think you're like, for instance, as a marriage, if the other person, your spouse, I guess I call it check the person. So if the other person is starting to get out of hand for a certain situation, the other person has the right to tell them, like, hey, that's not right.
Yeah.
And you may not accept it at that time, but as a mature person would take some time, consider it, analyze yourself, and then come back. Talk civil.
Yeah.
And that's something that I don't see a lot of people doing anymore, is that they self-analyze.
Yeah. Being reflective.
Exactly.
For me, as a Christian, I take my daily prayer time pretty seriously, and so it's like that's a time for God, and also reading the Bible, because the Bible's almost like the Bible's full of people who do a lot of good things and a lot of bad things.
Correct.
And I got to learn from their mistakes, but also learn from the success of those who were obedient and following God. And so it's like a mirror. It's like looking into the mirror and saying, okay, how am I doing? And so you don't go through your day without looking in the mirror. You might have mud on your face,
Exactly. There's two big quotes that always stood out to me, if we're talking about the Bible, is whoever, like when Magdalene was about to get, executed, it's like Jesus goes up to her and it goes up to the crowd. Whoever hasn't sinned, throw the first rock.
Yeah.
And then the other one that always stands out to me is when Jesus is with his apostles in the ocean, in the middle of the ocean with the storm. Hey, don't fear, I'm here.
Yeah.
So those are the two biggest quotes that stood out to me, and I kept with me for a long time, because one, everybody has done something wrong.
Yes.
It's up to the individual to either keep on making that mistake or to truly change.
Yeah.
You can't force that on anybody. That has to come from the individual. And also the other one, like I said, goes with a lot of things, either whether it's you're having a struggle in your life, why are you fearing, it's only temporary. That's what I got out of it. And also, like, hey, if you truly do believe, going back to Catholic and Christianity, is if you do believe in those words, why are you fearing? You just go, do right.
I think a lot of, so a lot of people grew up in the Catholic or Christian religion haven't really done their homework. I'm a former high school teacher, so I'm big on doing your homework.
I'm right there with you.
But haven't done their homework, and they fall, like it's almost like our default position is to think that we get what we deserve. So you got to, like you were saying, like you got to do good, and then you'll go to heaven, or you'll be rewarded, right? And part of it, and so if it's not, okay, I'm a sinner and I'm in need of forgiveness, and that's where Christ comes in, you know, that's why he died for my sake. If people don't have if their faith is in their own good works rather than in what Jesus did on the cross, then they're going to kind of project that onto other people. And then they're all about like trying to change you so that they can get rewarded in heaven because it becomes part of one of their good works. So like if you think about Jesus' life, one of the biggest, probably the only people that he really publicly criticized were the Pharisees. You familiar with the Pharisees?
Sound familiar? It's been a minute.
They were there was a Jewish religion back then. They were the religious leaders who made all sorts of extra rules on top of what the Bible actually taught.
Yeah.
And then they didn't even follow them themselves, you know?
Yeah.
And so they're constantly making themselves out to be better than other people, and then wanting to put on a big public show for it. You know, like Jesus criticized them for like their prayers were like really elaborate and in public, and he said, no, go into a closet and pray on your own. You don't need to make a big show of it, you know?
And that goes back to what I was saying, you know, it's like just do it, you know?
Yeah.
Out of a person that genuinely believes it, they just genuinely do it just to do it.
Yeah.
It's who they are.
Yeah.
They put that out, you know? And
yeah.
That's just
so like you're following in the tradition of Jesus. You're criticizing the religious leaders who are all full of themselves, and that's what he did. You know,
well, you know,
so,
and that's where you
got the right idea.
It's done well for me, you know, with my mental, I guess, with current stuff and mental load, mental stress. You know, just you're at least as a genuine person. Like I generally like, for instance, like you came up to me. Hear you out, you know. Yeah. I'm not saying, and I'm not sure if others can say the same thing, but you'll usually be able to fill out a person if whether, you know, you want to be around them or you don't want to be around them, depending on how they act. So I'm a big believer. Just your action speaks louder than words. You know, and give people a chance, and you know, and see where things go.
So I wanted to ask you, do you? When you say you believe in a higher power, what are your ideas about that higher power? Like
so
at this time, what would you say God is like?
For me, I still believe in a Catholic Christian, so I still believe that, you know, in God. I still pray, you know, every single day. That's just how I feel is right for me, because that's what I believe in. So
I guess, like, to give you some choices, when you pray to God, I mean, I don't know if you have like some kind of an image or a picture, or I'm not saying what he looks like, but would you say that God is a personal being or an impersonal being? So like, for example, you say higher power, electricity is a higher power. Like it could kill us, right? But it doesn't have a personality. It's actually like tied to the laws of physics, right? So I wouldn't pray to electricity, because even though it's more powerful than me, I can actually control it if I use those laws of physics against it, you know? And that would be like having a God like a genie in a bottle, where, well, he's stuck in his bottle unless I rub the bottle and then it comes out, right? Well, so on that note... So I'm in charge, you know? Yeah, but on that note, though, it's like, there's a saying in Spanish that I like to say. Try it in Spanish, we'll see if I get it. Dios, ponme por donde está la oportunidad, lo demás yo me encargo. God put something about the opportunity, but I'm in charge. No. So God put me where the opportunity is. The rest I'll take care of. Okay. Well, yeah. You know. So basically, it's like for instance, you have a big test or a big job opportunity coming up.
you just ask them, hey, guide me if you can, or at least for me personally, guide me if you can. Whatever happens, let it be your whatever your will.
Yeah.
But for my part, I'll do everything I can.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Yeah, if it's not for me, it's not for me.
Yeah.
If that's what's meant for me, then
it's perfect.
Yeah. So
I mean, and that's acknowledging that God. Now, if you say if you can, do you actually mean if you will? Because do you believe God could do everything, anything?
I think he does what he or she does, because I don't think God is genderfied. A lot of times, a Catholic Christian, or it's a male, but for me, it's just a higher being. I can't. There's things that happen in my life that I can't explain, but I understand that other people haven't felt that, or people that have felt it more than me. I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is what I can control, what I can do.
Yeah.
But for me, it's more like do right. Just follow the peaceful path as much as you can.
when you do think about God, and you're saying it's kind of like based, I guess you'd say like a Catholic foundation, but you're not stuck to that foundation kind of thing, or?
No, I'm more stuck on I guess you could say the teachings. So
of Jesus
teachings. That's where I'm at now. Before I used to think there was a paper that I did in high school that was about all the angels. There's not a lot of people know there's different types. Like if you go through the hierarchy of how heaven is supposed to be pictured, there's different rankings, I guess you could say.
Did you go to a Catholic high school? Or?
No, I actually went to a public high school. But
that's pretty cool that you chose that topic.
Well, when I was a kid, I was in a lot of, my parents were very religious. So there was a moment in time I actually wanted to become a priest.
Okay.
But, I was not.
Then you met your atheist girlfriend. No.
Well, she believes in a higher being too.
Okay.
It's just she always said that she was atheist. I'm like, how is that possible?
Yeah,
if you believe in a higher being? She's like, well, I don't know which one's right.
She's really agnostic. It just means.
But she's the one that actually got me questioning, because before I wasn't as open. If you would have came up to me and told me, like, hey, I'm Christian, if you would have met me in high school, I probably would have been like, no, I'm not talking to you. So in reality, you should be thanking her.
Yeah, well,
because she's the one that.
If she ever sees the video, thank you.
But she's the one that actually took me to like a Buddhist temple, took me to, to learn about
that's cool.
To other religions, to be opened up to question, and to, if I strongly believe in what I believe in, I shouldn't feel guilty.
Did she come from a religious background?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing as I did.
Okay.
But she's more she's more of a history person than me.
Yeah.
So we started diving into pre-Columbia times,
before
Columbus came over here. What were the religions out there in Europe, like in high school, most of the time. And this is the thing that I think kind of over time beliefs got whittled down, and then just a bunch of religions got pointed out. But nowhere in history, if you follow one religion to the soul heart, in history, religion actually sparks violence due to how the common people think, and it's due to the fact that religion was a tool for monarchs, or even the head of religion, to get what they wanted. They muddled what the teachings were, hence why now I just stick to trying to be the best person I can be, and try to present that and branch that out to whoever I am around with,
Yeah. I don't know how much longer you can talk, but trying to figure out. There's a lot I want to ask you about, but I'm just Did you get a feeling? So the thing about the angels being Catholic, and I also know I've been to Mexico a few times, and I know that they're kind of into, like, maybe even more so into the saints, different saints and things like that than here.
So yeah, you could say so.
Like, I used to see shrines, Catholic shrines, like everywhere. I went to the national park, and
where my grandparents and my great-grandparents are from, they actually have El Santo Niño de Cuaimo. That's how they call it, which is basically Jesus, but as a child.
Oh,
So, but they just call him as the saint, you know. So
Yeah.
in other places,
Really?
but and at the essence of it, it's just, I guess, like a tie to it. They're not really. That's not their, I guess, their main person.
Yeah.
It's still the, you know, God and the. It's just for some reason I personally don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, there's this big idea, and actually, like where I used to live in Chicago, it was big in the Catholic neighborhood that I lived in. It's kind of like, so like the politics. Like I knew a guy who was really close friends with Mayor Daley, and this was back when Mayor Daley was the mayor. And I knew that Mayor Daley would never give me the time or day. You know, like I can't just go talk to him. So if I want something, I need to talk to my buddy who knew the mayor. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so there's this idea that it works that way spiritually. Like we can't talk to God or Jesus. We need to talk to his mother, you know, or we need to talk to some saint, you know, that has kind of earned the right to be heard by.
And that's
Jesus.
where I go back to, like, you know, if you project it and you act and you're the person that you are, you may connect with somebody, you know, and then that person might connect with others, you know.
Yeah.
That's how I believe, you know, as long as I'm doing right, maybe it might resonate with somebody else, and then, you know, they keep on going on their path of life wherever it may lead them.
Yeah.
But, you know, essentially that's kind of, you know, going back to what you were saying, that's kind of how I believe it too.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you this, I'm just curious, like we're all going to die someday.
Yeah.
What do you think happens next? I think you said you used to believe in heaven and hell. Let me put it this way. If there is, like, if you did die today and you wake up and there's God on the throne and you're standing before him and it is Judgment Day, what do you think would happen? Do you think you'd end up in heaven or hell? Just
honestly, I don't know. You know,
yeah.
I choose to not think about it as much anymore, because before it used to terrify me. Now it doesn't really terrify me. I guess the older you get, the closer you are to that. And this is where it terrifies a lot of people, especially I see it in my grandpa, that, you know, he became more religious, you know, because he knew he was getting closer to death.
Yeah.
So I guess if you accept death at a younger age, like how I am trying to accept it, once my time does come, one, I won't fear, and I won't do things out of fear, you know, trying to be a fake good person.
Yeah.
Two, if I do end up passing away, I really don't know. You know, I just, maybe the only thing I know, at least for me, is I may see a light. That's probably about it.
A light?
Yeah, maybe like a bright white light. You know, that's
like people like near death experiences. They come back and they say they've seen.
I would say so. I mean, that's the closest thing to an answer I can give you. Whether what happens after death, I don't know, because it's more like nobody knows. Only the higher God would know.
Now I want to get you to think about something like, so fear. I grew up, I think, pretty much in the same shoes as you, as far as like feeling like, man, I'm not going to do anything out of fear. That's wrong, right? But fear can be actually healthy. So just the one thing I noticed is that, like you said, well, I used to fear these thoughts, and I used to fear that question, and now I decided not to fear it, and I don't think about it much anymore. Well, and so the fear actually got you thinking about it. Correct.
I mean, and I do think that's where initially how a lot of people start, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, either they don't think about it and they're like, oh, either it could go two ways. Either I don't think about it, I'm going to live it up. Yeah. Do wrong, right, whatever.
Yeah.
And then once you get to another age, you're like, oh God, I got all this baggage behind me that I regret. How can I make it up in the short 2 weeks that I got left?
Right.
You know. Right. So, to me, like you said, we all have a conscience. If you try to live your life as, you know, conscience free, guilt free as much as possible, you know, there's really nothing you should fear, you know.
Well, yeah, unless we're trying to escape. It's like escapism. Like if you just kind of like put your things that you regret or whatever behind you and try not to think about them. It's like, again, it's like avoiding. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like that's what I'm saying. Like if I say, for instance, you see a person drop their wallet, what would you do? Would you take that wallet back to that person, or would you take the money, give it to that person, or just take the wallet instead?
Right.
Obviously, for me, I would take the wallet, give it to that person, because you don't know
the right thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. So, but others that take the money and then later down the road, they're like, "Why is this all happening to me?
Yeah.
Why? What did I do?" Or like,
and I kind of feel like a big attraction of, say, drugs or wild living or sex or whatever is like an escapism. You know,
that is a form.
It helps people to feel good for the moment. At least they can escape their guilt feelings or fear. You know,
but it's temporary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's temporary,
and it's just a cheap shortcut.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, if you choose to, like, being a good, like at least for me, trying to be a good person isn't always the easiest way. You know, but it's the way that you choose to live it, and trying to be the best person you could be. Nothing that's ever good is ever easy to get.
Yeah.
Whether it's you go to college, get your bachelor's, master's, whatever type of degree you want.
Yeah.
Whether it's trying to improve your skill levels to get a better job, or whether it's just as simple as trying to make a dish for yourself to eat for your family.
Right.
You know, we all start not knowing, but at the end of your life, what is it that you've done that you feel proud of or you feel good? You know, for me personally, when I pass away, if I'm on my deathbed, God hope that I'm on my deathbed, you know, with my loved ones.
Yeah.
And I could smile at the end of my life and say, hey, I did the best I could.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Now it's up to you, whatever you decide to do, whether it's the religion I chose to believe in, or whether it's whatever other religion, it happens. But to me, religion kind of shouldn't take effect of the type of person you are.
Yeah.
You're just going to do right because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. So the thing about fear, the Bible has a couple things to say about it. One, it says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So in other words, it's like saying, okay, God, I fear you, I respect you, I will listen to you because you are God and I'm not. Mm. And that's wisdom. That's starting at the place where we really are is, man, I didn't bring myself into this world. I didn't create the world. Obviously, God is in control, and I'm going to respect that, So the fear of the Lord is beginning of wisdom. And then it also says, true love casts out fear. So what I've experienced as a Christian is, man, I don't deserve to go to heaven, but Jesus made a way for me. He gave his life up for me so that I could be forgiven. He paid the penalty. Like I did the crime, but he paid the fine for me. And now I want to live my life for him. And I still fear God as far as, like, of course God is God and I'm not and all that, but God's love, like just the fact that God would give up his son to die on the cross for me lets me know that God loves me.
Yeah. And
it's like, that overrides the fear, It doesn't mean I'm going to abuse God or, take advantage of him.
Correct.
There's still that respect there, but it makes me want to serve him,
Yeah.
And it's not out of guilt or obligation or trying to do enough to, like, make my good outweigh my bad or anything like that. It's just love. It's just like, or gratitude.
Yeah.
It's like,
no, I completely understand.
It's like, what's the best way to respond to someone who's saved your life, thrown themselves in front of a bus for you,
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to respond with gratitude,
Yeah.
I can't undo what he's already done. He died on the cross 2,000 years ago. If I reject that, that's like disrespecting what he's already done. But I want to, I want to show in 1,000 little ways how thankful I am for what he's done. And, like I'm a sinner. I don't even deserve my next meal, or my next breath. Mm-hmm. But wow, and so life has become so much more precious because it's like, and this is getting back to what I was saying about, like, we're in between like there's good and there's bad all around us. In heaven, there won't be any bad. So we're kind of in a situation where we could never serve God like this again. We could never, there's situations we're in where, you know, we're not going to experience this again. As far as I know, the Bible doesn't say that we will. So, yeah. So that's kind of, so the reason I'm saying all that is because fear can be a healthy thing, and it doesn't have to be the motivation. So, for example, if there was a blind man walking towards a cliff, you know, the most loving thing I could do would be to tell him about the danger he's in.
Correct.
And if he realized he's about to step off a cliff, he would change direction. And he wouldn't think, I'm trying to manipulate him. He'd think, thanks for telling me the truth, you know? So oftentimes what I do in these conversations, I'm just trying to tell the truth, what the Bible says. And, you know, you could do with it what you want, but, you know, it's not like
it's not you're forcing it on anybody. You're just
exactly
telling the knowledge.
Yeah. And actually, as a former teacher, I'm all about education. So it's like, if you reject the Bible, or if you think the Bible is just another one of the world religions, at least know what you're rejecting.
Correct.
You know.
Yeah.
So for example, let me give you a little good person test. So like when you die and you're on your deathbed, I want to like help you see maybe how the Bible would judge you. So for example, how many lies have you told in your life?
Not too many to count.
Yeah. And what can you do to erase that fact?
You really can't. You just got to.
It's just a fact. Right?
Yeah,
you can learn from it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And try to do better.
And we should.
Yeah.
But the fact is, when we did it, when we told lies, and I've told them, I'm not judging, and you know, I'm not saying anything that's not true for me.
Yeah.
We can't undo what we did, and when we did it at the time, we knew it was wrong. You know.
Yeah.
So, have you ever stolen anything?
You know what? Yes. When I was, I think I was 8 or 7, and I tried taking I guess they call them teeny babies when I was a kid. So I took it out of.
What was it?
It was a teeny baby.
Like
you know, but I got caught by the person.
Like
from
in a
the
store?
Yeah, in the store. And that was the one and only time.
It's embarrassing, right?
Yeah, tremendously. And from that, but I learned from it though, because even from when my parents gave me money to go to the store to go, you know, I would always give them to the penny. I'm like, hey,
okay,
you know, this.
So it doesn't sound like you're a habitual thief, but you have stolen, and you knew it was wrong when you did it,
and learned from it. You know.
Yeah, and God's justice would say, okay, you are a liar and a thief.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you haven't stolen since then, but
you stole.
know,
the fact still
did.
remains.
And so that's the idea that God loves people. He's not trying to like throw us under the bus all the time, but He also loves justice. So when God looks at us, it's not like He's like this cop at an intersection, like trying to write down
a ticket,
just looking for us to do something wrong. But if you're all-knowing, you can't look at if you're God and you're all-knowing, you couldn't look at my life and not see the truth about everything. Like all the sins I've done that I forgot I did.
Yeah.
God remembers them all without effort. So He's not like trying to, it's just that it's there.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
So have you ever, so I'm just going to give you a couple more questions just to give you an idea of, I'm guilty as charged. So the Bible says you shall not murder, but then Jesus expanded on that and He said, 10 Commandments, you know, but then He said, if you have anger towards your brother and you call him a fool, you're in danger of the fire of hell. So in the same way, what He was saying was, okay, you shouldn't murder people physically, but you shouldn't even hurt people with your words.
Correct.
That would be what He's teaching there. Something you've done? Ever hurt people with your words?
I have, you know, and going back to what you just said, that's something that I do remember is that, you know, but let's say, for instance, like for my brother, You know, one time I got upset with him because he's in high school, learning to be a person of society, as well as, you know, trying to go through the environment of becoming a young man, a young adult, you know. So he struggles with, I guess you could say, being on time and being responsible to, you know, to have the courtesy of others, you know. So he asked me to go pick him up. When I got there, you know, within the time he wanted me to get there, and he still wasn't ready. And I'm like, dude, I got personal stuff I got to take care of. I'm here at the time you wanted me to do.
Yeah.
Why are you being, you know, like this?
Yeah.
And obviously it wasn't the terminology I'm using at the time. And then I'm like, you know what? I calmed down, came back. My other brother, that's 5 years younger than me, he came up to me, he corrected me. He's like, hey, you shouldn't, you know, I understand why you're upset, but you shouldn't have said those things. And I'm like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in the wrong.
Yeah.
You know, obviously he did something that bothered me, but I shouldn't have said those things, and I shouldn't have made him feel like that.
Yeah.
So what is it that I do? I go up to him, I tell him like, hey, I'm sorry, I was in the wrong.
Yeah.
And like, even though you did that, that doesn't give me the right to make you feel less or make you feel that, you know, that your time isn't worth anything. You know, so I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to apologize to me. That's up to you, whether you feel whatever you feel. But at least for me, I want to make sure you understand what I feel.
Kind of like, I'm sorry for my part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, I'm not saying I want something in return. That's never, at least as a person, I don't think if you do something, you shouldn't expect something to come back.
Yeah.
You know? So I said that. So going back to that, what you just said, yeah, you know, I've said that, and that's just one thing of the many things I probably did do.
Yeah.
But I try my best to accept it when I'm in the wrong and to go back and to correct it.
The thing we do is, it sounds like you're a very conscientious person, you know, and quick to like catch yourself in doing things like that. Not that you haven't done them, but you're. So there's man's standards. So, and that's the one that we judge ourselves by all the time, because we're always comparing ourselves to other people, and we can always find other people who are worse than us, you know.
Yeah.
And to be honest, people that are much better than us.
Yeah.
And so we kind of have an idea where we fit in, and we feel like we're good people, generally, not perfect, but good. But God is holy, and so his standard would be perfection. That's what Jesus said, you know, you must be perfect, even as my heavenly Father is perfect, which is an impossible standard, even if we were to, like, say, repent and turn to God and completely live for God. And I mean, I've tried to do that. I can't do it. But even if I was to be able to perfectly do that from here on out, I'm still guilty for the things I've already done.
Correct.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So God's standard is perfection and holiness. And I would be a murderer at heart. You know, you would be too, by that standard.
Yeah. No,
it's not a reasonable standard for us as humans, because we don't know anyone who's meet that standard.
And like I said, if you go based on what, like you said, strictly on what the Bible and what the teachings say, like, we're
in trouble.
None of us.
Yes.
You know.
And so the last one is you know, like, well, I mean, there's more, the 10 Commandments plus all. It's not just that Jesus said don't do this, and the Bible says don't do this. It also says do this. So if you know the good you ought to do and you don't do it, that too is sin. It says in the Bible. So it's not just. It's called sins of omission and commission. What have we done, commission, that we shouldn't do, and what have we not done that we should have done?
Yes.
If that makes sense. So standing before God on Judgment Day, you would be, what, guilty or innocent? What do you think?
Probably guilty too.
Guilty, yeah.
And then I think that goes with, you know, just something simple as, you know, maybe you saw a person that needed a water and you didn't buy him a water, you know.
Yeah.
Something simple as that, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
No, I'd rather go home and I don't want to miss my favorite TV show.
Exactly. You know, so...
What is that?
I think it's happened to everybody, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
so again, we can come up with excuses, but the fact is we're guilty.
We're guilty of it, yeah.
And so that sounds like really bad news, and it is.
Yeah.
But the whole idea of grace, amazing grace, you know, God's grace, is that he's giving us something we don't deserve. So what we don't deserve is reward or heaven or, you know, what he did on the cross. Like, so I know I don't deserve it because I'm guilty as charged. I'm a guilty sinner. I don't deserve to go to heaven. I don't deserve what Jesus did on the cross for me. But God gave it to me. And that's where that gratitude comes in. It's like, man, God, you didn't have to do that.
It's like,
you know?
It's like, you know, just, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to wrap it up in a little bit. But it's something simple as, like, I work in construction. A lot of guys don't like construction. So I go to work, I wake up every day, do my prayer, say thanks to God, and I'm happy. I'm a pretty cheerful person, especially in the mornings. I love the sun.
Yeah.
I go into work and I'm like, dude, it's a new day. I'm above ground. I'm already winning. How many people can, how many people can't say that? You know, so I'm like, I truly feel gratitude and blessed that I have another opportunity to try to be better and to just be with my loved ones and to be with people. Like, you know, you seem like a very genuine person too. So to meet new people that are like that is awesome to me. Yeah. You know, and I truly believe, like, the people you surround yourself with is what you also pick up on their habits too. Mm-hmm. So, you know, be with the people you want to, that are where your goals align and where you want to go to in life, and try to help those that, you know, maybe need a helping hand along the way. You know, and don't judge them, just help them. And keep going. You know,
and that's all part of living out my gratitude, you know, to God. Others might say, well, they wouldn't say it because to say this would take away from the blessing of it, but they would say, well, they would think in the back of their mind, well, look at all the good things I've done. I think I'm pretty in good with God. See what I'm saying? And it's like, no, he's asking, he's telling us we need to admit our sin and admit our need for forgiveness, and then he'll give it to us. But it's not something we can earn. And that's that human default mode of wanting to go back to always trying to be good enough.
But that's
and to show that we're worthy, you know?
And I feel that again, that has to do with the fact being that people are too afraid or choose not to self-reflect. And that's something that I do believe that a lot of people lack, is self-reflection. You know, they're so quick to judge others. You know, I'm guilty of it too sometimes. And I'm, you know, then again, either my significant other or even myself, I'm like, why am I doing this? You know, that's who they are. It's not my business. You know, I can only act upon what I want or what's, you know, individually. Period. Even for my significant others, like, I can't force her to do stuff that, you know, that I would like her to do. No, it's just, you know, you can only control yourself.
Well, I probably should let you go.
I apologize, but
I have to get home too myself. So.
Well, it was nice meeting you.
Not getting my Jeff.
Jeff, no, nice to meet you again.
It's not my most difficult workout today, but that's okay.
I just had to get my heart rate up for a little bit, and I'm good.
Okay. I'm going to go jump in the pool. So let me go turn this off, and I'll give you my information.
All right.